The blizzard came without warning, turning the Montana landscape into a white nightmare. Jake Morrison pulled his fur-lined coat tighter as he guided his horse through the knee-deep snow. Despite owning the largest ranch in 3 counties and having more money than he could spend in a lifetime, none of that mattered when nature unleashed its fury. His black stallion, Thunder, suddenly stopped and whinnied nervously. That's when Jake saw her. A small figure collapsed against a broken fence post, nearly buried in the snow. "Jesus," he muttered, jumping down from his horse. The girl couldn't be more than 22. Her lips blue with cold, her breath coming in shallow puffs. Her old denim jacket was soaked through, and her boots had holes that let the snow seep in. Without hesitation, Jake scooped her into his arms. She was light as a feather, and he could feel how thin she was beneath her wet clothes. "Hold on, darling. I've got you." Her eyes fluttered open, the most beautiful green eyes he'd ever seen, like spring grass after rain. "Please," she whispered through chattering teeth. "My cattle. They're still out there." "Forget the cattle. You're dying of hypothermia." Jake mounted Thunder with the girl in his arms and rode hard toward his mansion. The sprawling house sat on a hill, all warm lights and stone chimneys sending smoke into the gray sky. Inside, Jake carried her straight to the guest bedroom and cranked up the fireplace. "What's your name?" he asked, wrapping her in thick blankets. "Emma. Emma Rodriguez," she managed between shivers. "I work at the Rodriguez Ranch, 5 miles south." Jake knew the place, a small, struggling operation that had been barely hanging on for years. "I'm Jake Morrison." Her eyes widened. Everyone in the county knew that name. The millionaire rancher. "That's what they call me." He brought her hot soup and sat beside the bed. "Now drink this before you freeze to death in my house." Over the next 3 days, while the storm raged outside, Jake found himself completely captivated by Emma. She was nothing like the sophisticated women who usually threw themselves at his money. Emma was real. She talked about her dreams of saving her family's ranch, about the horses she loved, about how she'd been trying to round up their cattle when the blizzard hit. "Why were you out there alone?" Jake asked on the second evening as they sat by the fire. Emma stared into the flames. "Dad's been sick. Mom's taking care of him. We only have 2 hired hands, and they were working the south pasture. Someone had to check the north fence line." She laughed bitterly. "Guess I'm not cut out for hero work." "You're braver than most men I know," Jake said quietly. Their eyes met across the fireplace, and something electric passed between them. On the 3rd day the snow stopped. Jake found Emma in the kitchen at dawn, already dressed. "I have to go home," she said, not meeting his eyes. "My family will be worried sick." Jake's heart sank, though he tried not to show it. "Of course. I'll drive you." The ride to the Rodriguez Ranch was quiet. When they arrived, Jake saw the reality of Emma's situation. The sagging barn roof, the rusty equipment, the worry lines on her father's weathered face as he hugged his daughter. That night Jake couldn't sleep. Emma had awakened something in him he didn't know existed. For the first time in his 30-year-old life, money felt meaningless. The next morning, he showed up at the Rodriguez Ranch with a proposition. "I want to buy your cattle," he announced to Emma and her father. Mr. Rodriguez's eyes lit up, but Emma stepped forward, chin raised defiantly. "We're not selling." "I'll pay double market price," Jake continued. "Why?" Emma demanded. "So you can add our land to your empire when we can't make the mortgage payments." Jake met her fiery gaze. "Because I'm in love with your daughter, and I want to help." The words hung in the air like morning mist. Emma's mouth fell open. "Jake," she whispered. "I know it sounds crazy. I've known you 3 days. But Emma, you changed everything for me. You showed me what matters. Not the money, not the big house, but having someone to care about, someone to fight for." Emma's father cleared his throat. "Maybe you two should talk privately." They walked to the old oak tree behind the house, the same tree where Emma had played as a child. "You don't even know me," Emma said, but her voice was soft now. I know you'd rather freeze to death than abandon your responsibilities. I know you dream about traveling to Ireland to see where your grandmother was born, but you'd never leave your family. I know you sing when you think no one's listening, and you have a scar on your left hand from trying to rescue a cat from barbed wire when you were 12. Emma stared at him in wonder. You listened. Every word. He took her hands in his. Emma, I've spent my whole life building something, but I never knew what it was for. Now I do. It's for you. It's for us. She looked up into his dark blue eyes and saw her future there, not as the poor girl who married the rich man, but as his equal, his partner, his heart. I love you too, she whispered. Their first kiss tasted like snow and promises. 6 months later, Emma Rodriguez became Emma Morrison in a ceremony held in the meadow between their 2 ranches, which were now one. She wore her grandmother's simple white dress, and Jake wore his father's be-on-the-lookout tie. But the real magic happened afterward. Emma didn't become a lady of leisure in Jake's mansion. Instead, they turned the Rodriguez property into a sanctuary for rescued horses, funded by Jake's wealth but run by Emma's passion. She taught him that true richness came from purpose, from helping others, from working with your hands in the dirt. And Jake? He learned that the best things in life couldn't be bought. They had to be found, usually when you weren't looking for them, sometimes buried in snow during the worst storm of your life. Their love story became legend in Montana, the millionaire cowboy and the ranch girl who saved each other when the world turned cold and white. They proved that love doesn't care about bank accounts or social status. Love only cares about 2 hearts brave enough to say yes when fate comes calling through a blizzard. Years later, when reporters asked Emma what made their marriage work, she would smile and say, "He found me in the snow, but the truth is we found each other. And we've been finding each other every day since." Jake would add with a grin, "Best storm I ever rode through." And in their cozy ranch house, with rescued horses running free in the pastures and their own children playing in the yard, they lived not just happily ever after, but meaningfully ever after. 2 souls who discovered that the greatest adventure isn't what you can buy, but who you choose to love.